Why did Jordan Hale walk into that last house and never walk back out? The porch light was still on. His van was still running. And on the front step, the final wrapped gift lay untouched in the snow. But the man who delivered it, the one everyone trusted, had simply disappeared. Last stop, Amelia Rhodes' house. Christmas Eve. Jordan was supposed to be home by 9. He never missed Christmas Eve with his mother. Not once in 34 years. By 9:17, his phone stopped ringing. By 9:24, Marissa Boyd was already driving the route looking for him. By 9:31, she found the van. Engine humming, heat still warm, door slightly open, as if he stepped out only for a second. But seconds don't turn into missing persons. Unopened gift found. Marissa called his name into the cold night. No answer. Just the sound of wind rolling across the empty street, and one house standing too still, too silent. Amelia Rhodes' house, the last address on his delivery list. When Marissa knocked, Amelia cracked the door only an inch. Her eyes were tense, watery. Her voice trembled like she had rehearsed something, or was hiding everything. "He never came here," Amelia whispered, but the snow said otherwise. Jordan's footprints led straight to her door, and none led away. But one detail didn't add up, because another pair of footprints, heavier, deeper, crossed over his. And those weren't Amelia's. They belonged to someone else inside that house. Someone who didn't want the truth coming out. Someone who watched Jordan walk in, and made sure he didn't walk back out. What happened behind that door? Why did Amelia lie? And who was the second set of footprints leading into the dark? If Jordan never left that house, then who erased his way out? Chief Nolan Grayson arrived before sunrise. Snow fell in thin, silent sheets, but not enough to hide what mattered. The footprints were still there, frozen in place like the last truth Jordan left behind. 3 hours after discovery, footprint analysis. Jordan's prints were light, even measured. The second set, the ones pressed over his, were wider, deeper, dragging slightly at the heel. A man's weight, a man's stride, a man who wasn't supposed to be on that property that night. Grayson followed the path, step by step. The trail went straight to the Rhodes' front door, but not a single print came out. That meant one thing: whoever stepped over Jordan's tracks never left the house. Inside, Amelia Rhodes sat on the couch with shaking hands. Her son, Jude, lingered in the hallway, silent, watching the officers like he was measuring every breath they took. Main suspect, Jude Rhodes? Grayson didn't accuse him. Not yet. He simply looked down at Jude's boots by the door. The same size, the same tread, the same deep heel drag as the prints outside. But something else tightened the air. Jude's boots were spotless. Not a flake of snow. Not a drop of melted water. Nothing that should have been there if he had been outside minutes earlier. Someone had cleaned them. Amelia's voice cracked as she told the same lie again. Jordan never came here. But Grayson noticed her eyes dart to the back hallway. Just once. Just enough. A hallway with a door half closed. A door with a faint smear of red near the hinge. A smear she tried to wipe but didn't finish. But where was the rest of the trail? Because the most chilling detail wasn't the footprints outside. It was the fact that Jordan's last gift, the one he never delivered, wasn't the only thing left behind. There was something else missing from the scene. Something that should have been there. His charity badge. Jordan never removed it. Not during deliveries. Not during holidays. Not ever. But the badge wasn't on him. And it wasn't in the van. Someone in that house had it. Someone who wanted his identity and his final steps to disappear. So who took Jordan's badge? Why did Jude clean his boots? And why would Amelia lie to protect the one person who made her eyes shake with fear? If Jordan walked into that house, why did someone try so hard to erase the moment he arrived? Chief Grayson stepped toward the half-closed hallway door. Every instinct pulled tight. The air felt heavier there, like the truth had a pulse of its own. Inside the Rhodes house, the hallway door, he pushed it open slowly. The hinges groaned, not loudly, but in a way that sounded used, recently used. Behind him, Jude's breath hitched. Just a single, sharp inhale before he forced his face back to blank. That was the first crack in his mask. Grayson noticed. Inside the hallway closet sat a stack of coats, winter boots, a broom, and a small plastic bin. Nothing dramatic, nothing violent, but the corner of the bin had a crusted, dark stain, dried, reddish-brown, tucked just out of sight. The kind of stain someone tried to scrub quickly. "Amelia?" Grayson said softly. "Whose blood is this?" Her face blanched. Hands shook. Eyes flicked to Jude. And Jude stepped forward, too quickly, too defensively, placing himself between the officers and the closet. Red flag. Interference. Deputy Sam Keller angled his flashlight downward. A torn piece of fabric lay caught under the closet door. Small. Frayed. Blue. Jordan Hale had worn a navy jacket the night he vanished. The room fell silent. Even Amelia stopped breathing for a moment. Grayson knelt carefully, pulled the fabric free, and felt the weight of the entire case shift. Because the cloth wasn't just torn. It was ripped, like someone grabbed him by force. New evidence recovered. But before anyone spoke, Jude said something that froze the entire room. "You're looking in the wrong place." His voice was tight, trembling, but calculated, like he'd been holding the sentence back for hours. Grayson studied him. "Then where should we be looking?" Jude didn't answer. He just glanced toward the back door, barely a flicker of movement, before his mother's sharp whisper cut through the room. "Jude, don't." It wasn't protective. It was terrified, and that changed everything. The back door. Because the back door had no snow disturbed around it. No footprints, no drag marks, no struggle. But the lock. The lock was broken from the inside. Someone didn't break in. Someone tried to break out. So who was trying to escape that night? Was it Jordan? Or someone else Amelia was desperate to hide? If the back door was broken from the inside, who was trying to run? Chief Grayson stepped into the narrow mudroom. Cold air slipped through the cracked frame, brushing against his face like a warning. The lock hung twisted, not smashed, not kicked, but forced with panic. Broken from inside. Jude hovered in the doorway, arms crossed tight, jaw locked. Amelia stood behind him, whispering prayers under her breath, eyes darting everywhere except the door. Grayson crouched, tracing the splintered wood. This wasn't an attacker breaking in. This was someone trapped, someone desperate, trying to escape the house. Jordan, or someone who saw what happened to him. A faint trail of scuff marks led from the door toward the basement stairs. Barely visible, like someone dragged their feet or was pulled back. Why the basement? Deputy Keller shined his light down the steps. The beam caught something at the bottom, a soft glint of metal. Jordan's charity badge, face down, bent, as if it had been stepped on during a struggle. Amelia gasped softly, too softly, and Grayson turned to her. "You said he was never here." Her lips trembled. Jude balled his fists, and the truth finally slipped out between Amelia's shaking breaths. "I told him not to open the door." The room froze. Who was she warning? And what did Jordan walk into before that door ever closed on him? If Jordan vanished inside that house, who saw what happened and stayed silent? Grace Whitmore had watched from across the street, shivering in the cold. She wasn't supposed to be there, just walking her dog. But the glow of the Rhodes porch light caught her attention. She saw Jordan step onto the snow, vanishing into the house's warmth, and then nothing. Neighbor witness. Grace Whitmore. Her dog barked once, piercing the night. A shadow moved behind the frosted window, quick, deliberate. Grace froze, heart hammering. She couldn't see clearly, but she sensed someone else inside. Someone standing over Jordan, controlling the moment before silence swallowed everything. Someone else was there. Grace didn't call the police immediately. Something in the way the person moved, the weight of their presence, scared her beyond reason. She fled before anyone could see her, carrying the secret alone. Why didn't she speak up? Because in that house, silence had power. And whoever held the silence held Jordan's fate. Who was the second person Grace glimpsed? And why did fear freeze her where it should have sparked action? If no one heard him scream, then what did Jordan see before he vanished? Inside the Rhodes house, the tension clung to every wall. Chief Grayson stared at Amelia and Jude, reading the unspoken between them like lines in a book. The closet, the back door, the scuffed basement steps, each a silent witness to something neither wanted revealed. Inside the house, unspoken truth. Jude finally spoke, voice low, shaking but deliberate. He shouldn't have come here. He shouldn't have seen. Amelia's eyes widened in panic. Her hands trembled on the edge of the table. Grayson felt the weight of the secret pressing against him. Judging the moment, there was no physical evidence yet that explained Jordan's disappearance. Only traces. The footprints, the torn fabric, the badge. But Jude's words carried something heavier. Guilt, fear, knowledge. What did he see? Grayson pressed. Jude's lips parted, then closed. Amelia's gaze dropped. Something happened inside. It wasn't just the footprints, the badge, or the scuff marks that told the story. It was the silence between mother and son. A silence that screamed more than any voice ever could. Who was protecting whom? And what secret had Jordan uncovered that night? The one they were both too terrified to admit. If Jordan never walked out, then who held the final key to his fate? Chief Grayson stepped into the basement, flashlight slicing through the cold darkness. The air smelled faintly of damp wood and fear. Every shadow seemed alive, waiting to confess the secret no one dared speak aloud. Basement discovery, final clues. Jordan's charity badge lay on the floor, bent and scratched. Beside it, a small box, the one he had been delivering as his last gift. Cracked open, its contents scattered. It wasn't just presents inside. There was a hidden ledger, listing donations, addresses, and suspicious notes about someone in the neighborhood. Amelia froze. Jude's face went pale. The ledger reveals all. Grayson pieced it together slowly. Jordan had stumbled onto something Amelia and Jude had been hiding. A pattern of manipulation and intimidation, carefully masked by holiday cheer. When he entered that house, he saw too much, and someone panicked. But the final piece came from Grace Whitmore's witness statement. Her view from across the street confirmed it. Jude had forced Jordan toward the basement. Amelia had tried to intervene. Fear had clouded every choice. Justice uncovered. Within 24 hours, law enforcement acted. Jude was arrested. Amelia cooperated, explaining the twisted fear that had kept them silent. And Jordan Hale, though taken too soon, became the reason justice finally caught up to the darkness hidden behind a holiday facade. Case closed. The neighborhood exhaled. The gifts Jordan carried that night would be delivered posthumously, a symbol of hope and courage. And his story became a reminder. Even in silence, the truth can't stay buried. If you want to uncover more chilling mysteries and the stories justice nearly forgot, subscribe to The Veil of Secret. Subscribe to The Veil of Secret for more true crime stories. Justice was served. The house was silent again, but this time for the right reason.